A voicemail arrived on my phone at 12:47 a.m. from my father's number. And when I played it, his shredded voice told me the thing in this building had been hunting our family for 60 years. By the time it finished playing, she was already standing at the entrance to my corridor. Welka knows what you lost. Part 2 of 4. I did not run. I want you to understand that. Not because I was brave, because my legs would not move. My entire lower body had become something separate from me. Something bolted to the floor. And I stood there with my face inches from that handprint and something breathing against the side of my head, and I could not make myself turn around. You know that feeling in a nightmare where you need to move but your body refuses. This was that. Except I was awake. I know I was awake because I could feel my own heartbeat in my back teeth. The breathing stopped. 1 second it was there, warm and slow and deliberate as a metronome, and then it was simply gone. The air beside my ear cold again, and the corridor was just a corridor. My legs came back. I moved fast. I did not look behind me. I walked back to my station at the front entrance and I sat down and I put both hands flat on the desk surface to stop them shaking, and I stared at the logbook. The last entry was in my handwriting: 12:09:40, all doors secured, Ward 7 clear. I wrote 3 more words below it: something is here. Then I sat and waited for my radio to work. It did not work. Not a malfunction. The display was on, the battery indicator was full, but when I pressed transmit there was nothing. No static, no dead air hiss, just silence on a live frequency, which is its own kind of wrong. I checked my phone, no signal. I had expected no signal in the mountains. I had not expected what I found when I unlocked the screen. There was a voicemail notification, received 12:47 a.m., from my father's number. My father, who I had hung up on earlier that evening. My father who had not called me in 4 years before tonight. The notification showed a duration, 44 seconds. I pressed play. For the first 3 seconds there was only breathing. Low, slightly wet, the way someone sounds when they are trying not to cry or trying not to scream. I could not tell which. Then my father's voice, not his old voice, his working voice, the flat, controlled voice I grew up with. Something older, shredded at the edges. He said, "Arson. It found the house. It was in your grandmother's room. I saw it standing over her and it turned and it looked at me and I recognized the face. Arson, I need you to listen. It is not a ghost. It is not haunting that building. It is hunting our family. It has been hunting us since before I was born. Your grandmother used to call it the ward nurse. She said it followed her out of that place in 1967. She said it only came for the ones who went back." The voicemail cut. 44 seconds exactly. I sat with the phone in my hand and I could feel my pulse in my palms. My grandmother had been a patient at Skaltsmynda sanatorium. I had known that. She was admitted in 1961, tuberculosis. She was discharged in 1967. She never talked about it. Not once. Not ever. My father had never explained why they were estranged from her side of the family. He had never explained why she would not come to family gatherings, why she would not look at photographs of certain buildings, why she slept with every light in her apartment blazing until she died in 2019. I was understanding these things in the wrong order. I was understanding them too late. The drag sound started again. I heard it from the corridor, not near the examination rooms, closer. It was in the entrance hallway, 12 meters away. 11. I stood up. I did not pick up the torch. The torch was on the desk and I could not make myself reach for it, because reaching for it meant looking away from the corridor entrance. The sound stopped. The entrance hallway was dark beyond the reach of my desk lamp. I stared into it. My vision was doing something specific. Tunneling. Narrowing at the edges until there was only the mouth of that corridor and the darkness inside it and my own heartbeat loud and mechanical in my ears. And then the darkness moved. Not a trick of the light. Not my eyes adjusting. The darkness at the center of the hallway entrance shifted. It organized itself. It took the shape of something standing. Tall. Still. The proportions slightly wrong in a way I could not immediately name. I stood at my desk and it stood in the corridor mouth and neither of us moved. For 7 seconds. I counted. Then it took one step forward into the reach of my desk lamp. She was tall. Gray, white skin so thin I could see the architecture of the skull beneath it. Her eyes were not there. The sockets were deep and black and something dark had cracked outward from them across her cheekbones like a spiderweb pressed into skin. Her hair was flat and wet against her scalp. She was wearing a patient gown. She was not touching the floor. Her feet hung 2 inches above the tile. She looked at me, not in my direction at me, with no eyes. And she said my name. She said it in my grandmother's voice. I understood then what it wanted. It did not want the building. It did not want a victim. It had been following my bloodline for 60 years, passing from family member to family member like a debt accumulating interest, and it had just collected the address of the next one. Me. I could not leave. The entrance door behind me was the only exit and she was between me and it, hanging 2 inches above the floor in my grandmother's voice. And I understood with the specific clarity of a man with nothing left to lose that there was nowhere in this building I could go that she had not already been. I backed into the examination wing. I had no torch, no radio, no exit. The door at the end of the ward swung open by itself, and behind it, written on the wall in something dark, was my grandmother's name, my father's name, and then mine, and beneath my name, something new. A date. Tonight's date, and below that, a single word I could not read because my grandmother's handwriting had always been in a script I was never taught. That's it for part 2. Follow Untold Lores for part 3. Like and subscribe for daily stories.